What is happening, fishing friends? Tackle Warehouse has their 12 or 13, I don't know, some odd days of Christmas. And each day they've got something a little different. When I saw the rod sales, I went through and picked out a few things that I've liked, things that I've used and would highly recommend to folks. I've put my time in with them and they've served me well. And none of these are crazy expensive. A lot of them are under 100 bucks. I've got a couple that are, I think, under or at 150-ish, but for the most part, pretty budget friendly, because I know right now is the time of season we're spending money on everybody else. Maybe we can squeak in a little for us on some fishing. So enough yapping, let's get into it. Rod number one is the Garcia Jordan Lee rod. Now, if y'all saw the tournament earlier this year, I think it was on Toho, Jordan Lee actually released a video, I'll leave that link below, where he was using his signature series rod. And I kind of think it's funny because a lot of times a pro has a signature series rod, you know, might be kind of more budget minded, and you see him using like the highest price, most craziest stuff from, you know, their sponsor. Well, in this case, Jordan Lee put on an absolute clinic using his rod. Now, normally that rod's 100 bucks. Right now, they've got them on sale for half off. So 50 bucks for that rod. And as you can see in some of the footage here, he was absolutely swinging on these fish. He's arched back, pulling these fish through the mats. And that's the rod that I would recommend from this. Now, $100 rod's not always the most sensitive. You know, you can find lighter options. I get it. But for frogging, you know, like a topwater popper, something like that, where you're seeing the bites, you don't need ultra sensitivity. For the longest time, I used an Garcia Vendetta. I think it's like $60, $70 rod, something like that. 7.4 heavy. Well, this, you've got a couple different options. There's the 7.3 or the 7.6 heavy fast. In this video, he is actually using the 7.9. I think it's a heavy moderate fast. It's the one that has the full length handle. I believe the 7.3 and the 7.6 have the split handle, but this is one I don't have here. I've used Randizzles. I've picked them up at the store. Very similar to like the Veritas, kind of the Vendetta. It's probably a mix between those two, coming in normally at 100 bucks. But hey, I've had good luck with Abu rods in that price range. Again, if you're not looking for something crazy sensitive, why spend $300 bucks on a frog rod? This one for $50, I guarantee will do you fine. Now, speaking of the Veritas rods, I didn't put these on my list. I have had, well, hold on, the older version of the Veritas rods with the metal clicking reel nut. One of the newer versions that's all white, they've got the foam reel nut, and that's another thing that I wanted to talk about on that Jordan Lee reel, or rod, excuse me. It's got foam up here, so when you're holding this, frog fishing and setting that hook hard, you've got finger on foam. The Jordan Lee ones actually have the wind grips and stuff, but very similar to the Veritas. Good look. I've had good luck with all the Veritases that I've owned, except for the ones years back that had the micro guides. Those, and it wasn't just me, they were notoriously bad at breaking the guides and such. So stay away from any of the micro guide old Veritases, but the new ones have been good, and they just come out with a new black one that I'm actually excited to get, because the white on those, they get dirty and disgusting. Okay, next up we've got the Dobyns rods. I picked a couple here. Now, all the Dobyns rods are 30% off. Again, I'll leave my links below. If you guys and gals use any of those links, a little bit comes back to me so I can keep doing the reviews, get the gear. It helps out a ton. If you find it somewhere else, that's awesome. Still love you, but just letting you know it does help out the channel. Dobyns 30% off. They have a bunch of different ones out there. I picked two of my favorites. Now, the Dobyns Fury for a long time was a $99 rod. People loved it. For me, one that kind of took its place was the Maverick. It's the new $99 rod. I think the Furies went up to like $130 or something like that. But the Maverick now, being $100, is on sale for $70. And that was my other topwater rod. Y'all saw me throwing spooks on this, poppers, a bunch of different stuff. Again, you don't need to spend crazy amount of money on a walking bait rod or, you know, a popper. You're visually seeing those bites, right? You're not waiting to feel the most sensitive thing ever. So worked extremely well for me. The one I have is the 705 CB, 7-foot, medium heavy, moderate fast, rated 1/4 up to 1 ounce lures. Throwing a super spook on this. I threw a boyo on this. You've seen this in some of my budget rod reviews and stuff. You don't have to go super crazy if you're throwing like mono on this. You don't need a super crazy high-end reel. This is the Daiwa CR or CC, whichever, I don't know which one. CC80, like a $60 reel. This whole total combo, getting this on sale, you're not much over 100 bucks. So great deal for the money. Again, if you don't need something crazy sensitive, your top waters, those kind of things, no need to spend extra. One thing I don't like about Dobyns is they still use this kind of standard reel nut here that's got some of the edges. It's not horrible, and with most of my top waters and stuff anyway, when I'm working it, I just kind of lay my finger up here. I don't put it in front of the reel. Just kind of lay it up here and work it. But for everything I've done, the rod has performed great. I think Dobyns rods overall are very, very good. Very well received by the community. You know, they usually hold up pretty well. but they can be a little bit soft. Some of the series are a little bit softer than others. But the second one I picked is the Kaden 713C. 7-foot, medium heavy fast, rated 1/4 to 3/4 ounce lures. Talk about a do-it-all rod. Take this off here. I can kind of show you the bend here. Hopefully you can see that. It's always hard to do this, maybe with the background there. But you can see it's a pretty true to fast. The Kadens are maybe just a little bit softer, but not overly soft like some of the Dobyns rods. I think the Sierra, some of the others tend to run pretty soft. But if you want something with more sensitivity, you could go up to like a 714 or 15, like a 4 or 5 power if you're fishing like jigs, Texas rigs. The thing I like about the Kadens is they're a full-length cork. So if you like the cork, that's great. The handle, you know, the trigger, all that is very comfortable. I think probably the same as the Maverick, this part here. But very comfortable, good rods. Again, I just wish that was different. I wish it was smooth, but it's not horrible. They seem to be a little bit less aggressive than they used to be, so I don't know if they just barely changed that, but it's not horribly uncomfortable. It's just not the most comfortable. It's got the little hoop eye hook holder here, but otherwise the Kadens, I would be completely fine fishing a whole fleet of these. Doesn't matter normally. These are 180 bucks. Right now with the sale, they're $126. So that 7-1 medium heavy fast has kind of been my do-it-all. I like how they give you some ideas here or here, so they're not upside down. Flukes, jigs, Cinco, spinnerbait, Texas rig. This is one of those, you know, I always say like a 7-ish foot medium heavy can do about anything. This is it. Now this was my lighter jig, so my finesse jig 1/4 ounce I was throwing on this. If you wanted to go up to something heavier, I would go to like I said, a 4 or a 5 power in the Dobyns. But Kadens overall, you're going to see that one, another Kaden coming up here in a second. But Kadens overall, excellent rods. I've had good luck with them. I've got that one and another one I couldn't find, a shorter one, but like them both. Rod number 3, a bit of a sleeper, the Ugly Stik Carbon. Now the reason I picked this one, because out of all these, I think fit and lock in hand, this one takes it. This is a normally $90 rod, on sale 30% off now for $63. 7-foot, medium heavy fast. I know the glare there makes it a little bit rough. Rated for lures 1/4 to 3/4 ounce here. And I still hit the dang ceiling. Anyway, seeing that locked in hand, it is crazy comfortable. To me anyway, for the way my hand is, I've got pretty average size hands, can just barely palm a basketball. And the fit there for me is perfect. I was throwing mostly larger hook moving baits. This is another rod where I don't want something crazy sensitive, crazy sharp, you know, fast action. I want there to be a little bit bend in it. And this to me is more of like a medium heavy, moderate-ish fast. When I bend this over here, you can see how far down in that blank that bends. But it's got a really good stout backbone, and that's what I like for my single hook moving baits. Because with something like your chatterbait, spinnerbait, swim jig, larger underspins, anything like that where I've got a larger single hook, I want that fish to get it, and I want there to be a bit of a delay in the rod, so it grabs it, my rod starts to bend over and move, then I'm pulling the hook into it. I don't want a real crisp, stiff rod where I can barely feel the first little peck of the bait moving and I pull it away from the fish. I want that fish to have it and start loading my rod before I pull into it. That's why I like just a little bit softer rod. So this Ugly Stik Carbon has been great for this. I know people talk crap about the old, you know, Ugly Stiks and stuff, but this one's been revamped. Matt Robertson, I think, fishes pretty much only these, and you know, he's a tour pro, so good rod. I like how, again, here they've got kind of a modified like wind grip, almost like a bike handle grip to it, so it's kind of like a rubbery, but it's EVA foam under it. Again, the reel nut here is smooth, so putting my finger here, I'm on a smooth surface, nothing uncomfortable there. It's got just your normal standard hook keeper. Otherwise, great rod. So far, again, I've liked it for all those moving baits. Now, if you wanted like a, you know, a Texas rig or jig rod, I would go up to something a little bit more expensive, you know, where you can really feel those bites. But the bend in that, to me, is perfect for moving baits. Next up on the list, if you're a BFS finesse fan, that stuff is absolutely taking over. And yes, this past year, I've got into it, and it's a lot of fun. Now, I'm not saying that I want to throw a 1/87th ounce little micro jig. I'm not into that. But for downsized bass stuff, for those tough days, or if, hey, you just want to go out and catch numbers, the Dobyns Sierra Ultra Finesse has been great. I've got one. I've liked it. Those originally are $190, now on sale for $133 with that 30% off. Great buy. It's honestly one that I've liked a lot. If you're getting into the BFS stuff, you don't want to spend, you know, $200, $300 crazy $100. The Sierra has been really good. Good rod line. The one I liked is the 7-foot light fast. 2 to 8 pound line, 1/16 to 5/16 ounce lure weight. It's been perfect. You don't want to throw those little Texas rigs. Y'all saw me throw some crankbaits on it too. It's soft enough where you can throw crankbaits. I spooled mine up with some 5-pound fluorocarbon BFS reel. I think I had the SLX on that one. Otherwise, the Arc Gravity BFS is an excellent BFS reel. But otherwise, a great do-it-all, kind of not super light BFS multi-purpose rod. I really liked it. I know a number of people that have that one and like it as well. So, okay, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. Moving over to the spinning side of things. I told you there was going to be another Kaden in the mix. The Dobyns Kaden spinning rod. This is the 7-1 medium light extra fast, 1/8 to 1.5 ounce. And this one, again, I like how they give you some ideas there. Darter head, shaky head, worm, tube, all those kind of things. To me, this is an all-purpose. I've thrown Ned rigs on it. I've thrown a drop shot on it, smaller shaky heads, tube, any of those type of things with a little bit lighter hook. Now, if you're going up into the bigger, heavier stuff, you know, like the heavier off the ledge, shaky heads and stuff, maybe you want to look for something else. But with this, they've been very comfortable. Now, again, I've talked with a few people about this, how there's less up front here where you're holding it. You know, you hold your spinning rod like this. Less up front here, but I don't necessarily hate it when it's all out of the way like this one. They did a really good job of keeping us all out of the way where I'm just holding the blank. Some of it kind of gets too much stuff up in here. Anyway, hold it like that. It really just all depends on how you hold your spinning reel. But for me, like this, it's been comfortable in hand. It's got the little hook keeper back here, your cork grips. I know some people are absolute on the cork. Good guides on it, good action. You can see there, normally your spinning rods are going to be a little bit lighter, or softer, I should say, action overall. But this one's still pretty good, pretty fast up into it, so pretty true to action. I've liked them. Like I said, if I were to pick one Dobyns out of the whole line, saying I have to fish all Dobyns, you only get one series, it would be the Kaden. I think Gary Dobyns did a really good job with these, so for the first spinning rod, there you go. Okay, the final rod on the list, another spinning rod. This is actually one that Fenwick is phasing out. This is the Fenwick Elite Bass, normally $170, 47% off down to 90 bucks. The thing with this is Fenwick, if you've watched, paid attention, they came out now with like the Eagle, the HMG, they brought that back. There's like the World Class or something. They've got a whole different line of rods because when they shut all the old ones down and relaunched, all the new rods come in the same action for whichever one. So let's say the Eagle has, I don't know, 8 different ones in there, a 7-foot, medium, 7-foot, medium, whatever. The lengths, the actions, the powers are all the same in each one. So if you start out with an Eagle, which is like 99 bucks, and you say, wow, I want something a little bit more expensive, I'm going to go up to the World Class. The 7-1 medium heavy in the Eagle feels just like the 7-1 medium heavy in the World Class. So they completely revamped. I don't know of another rod company that's done that. You know, like I was saying with Dobyns, each series could be a little different. The Champions might be a little bit faster. The Kadens could be a little bit softer. Just kind of depends. But anyway, this was the old one that I used through a couple seasons. Ooh, that's really bright, isn't it? The Elite Bass. This is 7-foot, medium fast, rated for lures 1/4 to what? 5/8 ounce. And this was my do-it-all. The thing that I like about this, and as I was talking about the grip and everything here, I really like this. So you can see the reel nut is here in the back. So I just threw a reel on here beforehand, but this is where you tighten it up. So you tighten that in the back here, and you're holding all this up here. So this one, I actually hold right on that little cork piece. Very comfortable in hand. I like when companies keep this all right here, low profile, not a bunch of padding, not a bunch of stuff here. I like this to be kind of as flat as possible, and this was one of the more comfortable ones I've held and used. So you're right there, you're in contact with the blank. There is a little hook keeper here on the bottom. Overall, the fast action to it is pretty true. When you see that there, pretty close to it. Like I said, they're always going to be a little bit softer than the counter or counterpart of a casting model. But overall, really, really good. I liked it. I use it for Ned rigs, mostly Ned rig, but shaky heads, you could use it for drop shot, anything like that, again, as an all-purpose. Now, there's like a 610 and a 6.8 or something, but the 610 medium light for sure would be my take, because even with this one, it's pretty fast here. As you can see in the tip, it's not overly floppy. So if you're using smaller hook, Ned rig or drop shot, I actually would like the rod to be a little bit softer, a little bit lighter power for those. For like the EWG Ned rigs or a little bit thicker hooks, I did like this one. This is more of like a medium, getting closer to that medium heavy feel in it. So I think the medium light would be the one to go with, especially if you like throwing wacky rigs or, like I said, small Ned rigs, Nico rig, any of your more finesse stuff, it would be a great do-it-all. Now, the last thing I wanted to point out, not a rod, but it is one of the new rod sleeves. So a subscribed fishing friend sent this to me. I think his buddy owns Evolve. Awesome little rod sleeve. So you can see it's a hard rubber back here, so when it hits any of your hooks or anything back here, it doesn't get stuck. It's the neoprene, which is very hook resistant, so it's not like these where it's this mesh type. I still use these, they're fine, but if you do end up getting like a treble hook in it, kind of be a pain in the butt. With these, you don't have that treble, and I like at the tip, it's got that hard rubber cone up here, so the tip actually goes all the way up into this, protects it, so if you hit it on anything, it's got that hard tip protector up there. Great rod sleeves. I've got a few of these. I'm actually going to grab a couple more because they are on sale, so I'll leave these linked below too. But if you're looking for a rod sleeve that's not crazy expensive, oh, sorry, and this is the biggest part for me. It has this elastic strap. Taking these in and out of the truck, whether you're bank fishing or kayak fishing, put that over your handle, slide this up like that, and it's not coming off. Like the, you know, those ones that I was showing you where it's, you just slide it on. There's nothing to keep it on there. You're fighting it, you lose it in the truck, whatever. But anyway, those are my picks. Comment below and let me know if you've used any of those rods, if you like them, if you don't like them, you know, whatever your experience has been. All rods that I've used, especially Broken Record Debo, the Kadens. I think those are a great rod line for the money. A great do-it-all rod that's not crazy expensive, breaking the bank. But anyway, comment below, let me know. I've got another video coming out tomorrow. We got a little unboxing, shouting out some people like that and other subscribers that sent me some awesome stuff and some other lures that I picked up on sale. So it's enough for me. Thanks all for watching. Love you. And until next time.